Easy Explain the One Straw Revolution by Masanobu Fukuoka, Section 4. Kicking off here with confusion about food. So let's start with a confusing statement. Fukuoka says, from the beginning there is no east or west, no four seasons, and no yin and yang. Very much so aligning with a Zen paradox here, right? Confusing. Let's get into how he's going to apply this to food, though. Fukuoka continues, if you realize that the eventual human goal is to transcend the world of relativity, to play in a realm of freedom, then plodding along attached to theory is unfortunate. When the individual is able to enter a world in which the two aspects of yin and yang return to their original unity, the mission of these symbols comes to an end. And one more from Fukuoka to round out this section. He says, if you expect a bright world on the other side of the tunnel, the darkness of the tunnel lasts all the longer. When you no longer want to eat something tasty, you can taste the real flavor of whatever you are eating. It is easy to lay out the simple foods of a natural diet on the dining table, but those who can truly enjoy such a feast are few. So what's he getting at here? What's this confusion about food? The confusion about food is that we've become so accustomed to wanting more than we should. Should being a very heavy word, but for lack of a better one right now. Fukuoka thinks if we were to strip it back down and focus on a natural diet, a simpler diet, and really be present with that and at peace and full acceptance with that, we'd be more unified across our food, our culture, our diet, our bodies, the health of the earth and nature itself. This is the confusion we need to get away, right? We need to go back to this very simple state, which is better for everything. To bolster that, he actually provides a really cool image, a diagram in the book. It's he calls it a food mandala. I can't recreate it here, but there's a quote that kind of helps to support it. Fukuoka says, farming, fishing, animal raising, the everyday realities of food, clothing, shelter, spiritual life, everything there is must form a union with nature. Right, so think about the traditional mandala symbol. What Fukuoka does is he puts food seasonally, right, where to get it, how to get it, what to eat, and when. Very natural, simple process, all in union with itself, not confusing at all once you lay it out there like that. Let's continue building with this idea. Let's get into the culture of food. In this section, Fukuoka says that true culture is born within nature and is simple, humble, and pure. Lacking true culture, humanity will perish. When people rejected natural food and took up refined food instead, or processed food, society set out on a path towards its own destruction. This is because such food is not the product of true culture. Food is life, and life must not step away from nature. So here we're really starting to see this big picture where everything is interconnected, right? You have your food, you have your life, you have nature, you have diet, you have culture itself, all being interconnected, one and the same. And this is the simple trueness that we have to get back to, following the food mandala and being more appreciative of these simple, natural, humble, and pure foods. So let's sum up diet. Here in this section, Fukuoka actually provides 4 classifications of diet, essentially 4 tiers. I just kind of quickly provide an overview of them with some of the descriptors and adjectives he provides. But the starting point for a lot of people, right, he probably thinks the majority is in this case, is very self-indulgent diet. Right, this is just all the processed food, all the refined foods you're eating, you're giving into those indulgences, those cravings, those vices, and you're just eating whatever you want in the moment. You're really not thinking about the consequences of this, how and where it came from and when, and we got to move out of this diet. The next step up would be what Fukuoka calls more of a scientific diet. So here you're thinking about nutrition, right? You're eating things that are good for you, but maybe not so much beyond that, like in terms of seasonal timing and sourcing and organics versus natural. Finally, next step up, not finally, one more to go, but the next step up would be the diet of principle. So this is deeper, right? You're really starting to take serious consideration into what you're eating and when and how you're obtaining it and where it's coming from. But finally, the last step in diet, and this is that simple, pure, totally united with culture and nature diet that Fukuoka is talking about here. He calls it the diet of non-discrimination, right? Non-discriminatory, very Zen. That's a big Zen concept. No bias one way or the other. Union of yin and yang. This is the natural diet, and we can make it metaphysical. We can also call it the diet that aligns to the will of heaven, right? Heaven just being like the greater realm, that realm of freedom that we all long to play in. So this is an overview of Section 4. One more section to go, Section 5. But for now, hope this helps.